What is up, everybody, and welcome to the United States Department of Nerds, where we are for the people, by the people, and of the people. And on today's episode, which is the 10th episode already, we are already into March. And on today, I'm bringing you new comic book day for the week of 5 March. I do apologize. I am late getting this out to everybody. It has just been a slummy week. The weather was kind of trash. I couldn't bring myself to do a video, and I'm not going to do a video unless I'm feeling it. And today I'm feeling great. So let's dive into it this week. So to start this week, we had 211 new releases and 530 releases overall. Those are great numbers this week. And also my comic shop did get, for the entire order in at a decent time, that I was able to pick up everything I expected to get this week. But let's break it down. And like always, we'll start with Marvel. And this week for Marvel, we're going to a galaxy far, far away to kick things off with Star Wars Jedi Knights, issue 1. This is written by Marc Guggenheim. And this cover is done by Rahzzah. And I also picked up additional covers from Taurin, Clarke, and Greg Land. This is the first issue to the sequel era in Marvel's first series, focusing on the Guardians of Peace and Justice in the Galaxy, the Jedi Knights. And in this one, it will feature your favorite Jedi like Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Yoda, Mace Windu, alongside many other new Jedi, which is really dope. They're going to introduce us to some new Jedi that we hadn't seen on TV before, but in the comic book, that's A-okay. They can introduce stuff like that and give us new Jedi to meet and enjoy. So that's it for Marvel this week. So let's jump over to DC, and not just any type of DC. We're going DC Vertigo, which I'm loving the fact that Vertigo is back, and they're back in a big way. And today we got The Nice House by the Sea, issue 6. This has been a phenomenal story. I've been with it since it was The Nice House by the lake, which is a really great book. If you can find that, I highly recommend you pick that up. But in this one this week, it's written by Jeff Loeb. Covers were done by Alvaro Martinez Bueno and Maria Lovett. In this issue, the residents of the house by the sea have figured out that they can take full control over the form of their own bodies. But that's not all they learned how to do with the power placed in their hands. I don't want to give too much of this story away because I really want you to go out and read it yourselves. But my God, this is so phenomenal. Pick it up, figure out what they're talking about when they've learned how to manipulate their own bodies, and you will enjoy this tremendously. It's got a horror vibe, a thriller vibe to it. So if you're a fan of those, I can't recommend The Nice House by the Sea enough to you. They're coming over to Dynamite this week, and I got a few pickups from Dynamite, and we're going to start with a new number 1 this week, and it is a flashback, and we're going all the way back to some Hanna-Barbera and the Herculoids. That's right, the Herculoids. This is being written by Tom Snigoski. And the cover I picked up was from Joseph Michael Lisner. We got Craig Russo on the interior. Dynamite is bringing us another Hanna-Barbera classic for everyone to enjoy with the Herculoids. Hidden in the southern reaches of space, the planet of Amzot is legendary for its fabled riches and for the terrible fates that befall anybody who tried to exploit its riches. This was so cool to see. I'd seen it maybe coming out. I didn't realize it was already going to be out when I went to the comic shop this week. So really dope to see this. I'll probably just end up getting the number 1 to be fair, but we'll see after I read it how I'm feeling about it. I may continue on with this one. Staying in Dynamite this week, and we are going to The Terminator, issue 5 by Declan Shalvey, and cover this week is by Edwin Gallman. In this issue, it's 1961, and high above the launch pads of Florida and Central Asia, the U.S. and the USSR are racing to claim the ultimate high ground of space. And Obi-Wan Kenobi would be so proud of both of them for trying to reach the high ground. This has been a great little series so far. It takes place in the past. 1961. And right now they're currently in the discussing the U.S. and the USSR. It's been a really good, cool, like travel through history type of story with this one. So I can't recommend it enough. It's been really great so far. We're going to stay in Dynamite for just one more book. And the only reason I picked this book up is because of the cover, and it's a Jenny Frism cover. And it's Vampirella number 675. It's written by Christopher Priest. But like I said, the only reason I picked it up was because it was Jenny Frism, and I love her work. So that's it right there. Vampirella 675. Going on to Dark Horse this week. We have a new one. This is a new number 1 with Usagi Yojimbo, 10,000 Plums, issue 1. This is written by Stan Saki, and he also did the interior on this book. And Arita Mitsuhiro did this amazing cover right here. In this new issue, one of the Shogun samurai strongmen become immediately suspicious when Usagi, Yukichi, and Jin are found wandering in a huge field of the Shogun's prized plums. It's a very light cover, so it's kind of hard to get to go. There we go, right there. Beautiful cover. This is going to be a 5-part miniseries, and I'm really excited for this one. And can't wait to read all 5 of these. This is going to be a fun ride, and I'm a big fan of Usagi. So going over to EC Comics and Oni Press, and we're going to pick up with issue 3 of Cruel Kingdom. And this is written by Kareem Becho, Matt Bors, and Christopher Cantwell. Cover by Adam Polina and Kano and Valeria Burzo on the interiors. In this issue, all new dread-drenched spells of magic and myth are summoned from the cauldron via a mad wizard. So this is Cruel Kingdom is EC Comics' first adventure into sci-fi, and y'all, it's been phenomenal. I'm glad they're keeping this one going. It's been fun. It's been a wild ride, and I've really enjoyed the art and the stories in this one. So if you can get your hands on Cruel Kingdom, I highly recommend you doing so, especially if you're a big fan of sci-fi, wizards, dinosaurs, and people riding dinosaurs. Can't recommend it enough. It is very, very fun read. Now staying with Oni Press this week, and we got one more. This is it. Rick and Morty Spring Breakout issue 1 by Jake Black, James Asmus, and Jim Festante. And I picked up covers by Dean Ramkeen and Angela Trezino, and Warren Wucinich, Dean Rankin, and Angela Trezino all worked on the interiors in this book. And in this issue is spring break for everyone except Morty, who after an outburst in Mr. Goldenfold's class, basically gets detention. Morty and a handful of other students are stuck in an all-day detention under the watchful eye of Rick. I don't know why they went with Rick, but they went with Rick to be, to watch them during spring break in detention. So it's kind of like a Breakfast Club meets Magical School Bus type adventure as Rick takes Morty and the kids around the universe for a lesson on spring break that they will never forget. Big ups to Oni Press and keeping Rick and Morty going in comic book form. I'm really digging it. And my daughter said the last one was phenomenal. So I'm really happy that this is out and looking forward to reading this one myself before I give it off to her. So going over to Zen right now, Zenescope, and we got Grimm, Tales of Terror, Volume 5, Issue 3, The Devil's Chair, written by Joe Bruscia, Dave Francini, and the cover was done by Igor Vittorino. And there are many legends surrounding the Devil's Chair scattered across the United States, but none as more chilling as the one that sits in the Casadaga Cemetery in Florida. And like I had said in a previous episode, I like what they do with this because they kind of take something from the real world, give it a little spin to it, and then make a story with it. So it's really fun. Grimm Tales of Terror, Volume 5, Issue 3. If you're a big fan of horror and horror comic books, they're always a good read. And I can't recommend these enough because the stories are good and the art is even better. Grimm Tales of Terror. So coming up next, we're going over to IDW for a new number 1 this week. I don't know if I'll continue to read this story or not, if I'm just going to go with the number 1. But we got Mothra, Queen of the Monsters, written by Sophie Campbell, and she also did the cover as well. And in this anticipated first issue, Mothra has fallen after a fearsome battle with the terrifying new kaiju, Antra. Without its protector, the world has entered into desolation. Kaiju roam freely, and what remains of humankind has been forced into hiding. Now, that's the basic general, of this book, but there's more to it. It seems like it's going to be a really good read. So when I read it, I will make a determination then if I'm going to continue picking it up. But I am a big fan of kaiju and Mothra, Godzilla, King Kong. I love all that type of stuff. And so I picked this up in anticipation of it going to be good. And I can almost guarantee it's going to be good. IDW is doing phenomenal things with that universe right now. So I cannot recommend them enough. IDW, Mothra, Queen of the Monsters. Pick it up if you can. So we're finally going over to Image, and we're going to start it out with Jesus Orlanya's Juvenile, issue 4. We're getting close to the end here on Juvenile. There's one more issue after this one, and it's been a wild, fun ride. Jesus does such a fantastic job with this book. He also does the writing, the covers. He does the interior. It's his book front to back, top to bottom, and I really like that about this book. But in this issue, Max is in isolation, and Sarah decides to reveal the truth about the virus to the others and plan an escape together using their newfound powers, but the adults are determined to stop them at any cost. Will the children be able to break free? Like I said, we're getting close to the conclusion of this book, and it has been a phenomenal ride. Jesus, thank you so much for bringing this in Image, for producing it for us. It has been an amazing ride, and I'm really excited to get to number 5. Even though I say that, I know we get to number 5, I read it and be like, I need more. But Juvenile has been a fun ride. Can't recommend it enough to everybody. So coming up next, we're going to make a quick stop into Ghost Machine, and we're going to start with Hyde Street, issue 4, written by Jeff Johns, and Ivan Reyes is on the interiors. And he also did the cover this week as well. In this issue, witness, if you will, the demise of a good man in a town without pity. A caring man with aspirations to be known among his peers as one of Hollywood's finest actors, only to see his colleagues snicker at him when he's typecast as a famous film monster made by human patchwork parts. But as we'll see, life imitates art sometimes. And this is Life Imitates Art in Tinseltown, down a boulevard called Hyde Street. Hyde Street is a phenomenal book by Ghost Machine. We're getting the introduction of a new character here this week. Don't want to give too much away because I really do want y'all to go and pick up some books from Ghost Machine and enjoy them as much as I have enjoyed them. So I got one more book from Ghost Machine this week, and it is the trade paperback for Redcoat. And you can see here's the trade paperback. This covers issues 1 through 7 of this phenomenal series. And Redcoat is about Simon Pure, who is an immortal, and his life has been crazy. And so you can see here, he was a Redcoat, turned immortal after discovering some people doing some weird stuff in the woods and their weird chants, and turned him into an immortal. And he goes on a whole bunch of crazy adventures is the gist of the book, but it is a phenomenal read. He rubs elbows with some of the biggest people from history in this book. Can't recommend this enough to y'all. If you can go get your hands on this trade paperback, go do it. So I got one more book for y'all this week, and we're going over to the Spawn universe for it. In this one, we have Sam and Twitch. This is issue 11 of Sam and Twitch's Case Files. It's written by Jordan Barrow, covers by Raymond Gay and Marco Falia. And in this one, Max Williams, a.k.a. Twitch, has always been a good cop and an honest cop, but someone has set him up. He's taken the fall for a shooting that wasn't his fault, but sometimes that's just the job. You have to write it out until you can prove your innocence, but now someone is threatening his family, and Twitch will have to take the law into his own hands. I missed out on the first series of Twitch that I think came out in either the late 90s, early 2000s or something like that, but I'm glad it's back. It's been a fun ride so far up to issue 11. I've really enjoyed it. If you can get your hands on some Sandwich Witch or anything from the Spawn universe, give it a read. The Spawn universe is phenomenal in my opinion. Others may not share that opinion, but to me, Spawn has been everything to me. It's really what put me onto comic books in the 90s and brought me back to comic books ultimately today. So that's it for my comic book recommendations for the March 5th New Comic Book Day. Let us know what you picked up this week from your comic shop in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this here, my 10th episode already of New Comic Book Day. And be out on the lookout for my other social media platforms when I'll be posting some of the additional covers that I picked up this week. So what's coming up? I don't know yet. I just dropped Cobra Kai. All episodes this week. It's all up on YouTube as one nice playlist, all in one area for y'all. There is a bonus episode at the end of Cobra Kai Season 1 for the boys season conclusion on the last season of the boys. And maybe we'll be doing Reacher next, unless something else comes up before then. But otherwise, Reacher will probably be our next route party because we were asked to do one of those. So we're going to do that for the new season of Reacher that is currently on Amazon right now. Been great, by the way. If you haven't watched it yet, go give those a watch. They are a really good series. So that's all I have for you this week. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed making it for you. And if you did, don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned for more. You never know when I'll have a pop-up show. And on behalf of myself and the Council of Nerds, this short is USDN approved. Thank you.